First things first, I do not agree with some of the IOC's use of terminology, and I will explain exactly why in this film. I will also tell you which sports I think should leave the programme and which sports should be included. If you do not agree with my opinions in this film, I look forward to reading your comments below as to the reasons why. So, Tokyo 2020 or 2021 has just finished. Closing ceremony complete, and all things considered, not a bad job done. I enjoyed watching the highlights, as where I live, I would have to have subscribed to a year-long TV package at more than $100 a month to watch the games live. This meant I had to cherry-pick my viewing and watch on replays already knowing the result, so not ideal for me. Let me know in the comments if you managed to watch the games okay, and was it free to view? I have an opinion that as the mission of the IOC is not only to ensure the celebration of the Olympic Games, but also to encourage the regular practice of sport by all people in society, regardless of sex, age, social background, or economic status. So bearing this in mind, I think the least that can happen is that everybody is able to watch the Olympics for free. As I said, I thought the Tokyo Games were okay. It's understandable the reasons why they were only okay, and to compare them, just say for instance to Rio or London, would be unfair. There have been some strange moments in these games. Sometimes I wonder whether I've actually been watching sport or not. I have asked myself on numerous occasions throughout the Tokyo Games whether that sport deserves to be there, and whilst watching some sports I'm afraid I've simply switched off. To be fair to Tokyo, I did the same in just about every other Olympics I can remember, and that's quite a few. I know we are all different and have our personal tastes. I know we all play, watch and enjoy different sports. I know there are traditional sports and the newer and developing sports. Believe you me, I know this. No matter what lists you read, there were at least 42 different sports at the Olympics, and indeed I will be making another film on my thoughts on sports within sports in the Olympics. The 100 metre sprint is a sport, not an event, as is the 1500 metres and the javelin. They shouldn't be called the same sport of athletics. Swimming is a sport, water polo is a sport, as is diving. I disagree with the way sometimes a sport is labelled by the IOC. Swimmers do not say, when they are explaining themselves, their sport is aquatics, nor do those who play water polo or dive. This can be applied across many of the Olympic sports. In cycling there is BMX, mountain bike, track cycling, road cycling, time trialling. These are all sports in their own right, and maybe there are even more sports within these, but I want to keep this film manageable. But one thing's for sure, they are not events. IOC, please take note and change immediately. Just for the sake of simplicity, I will go by the IOC's classification of sports and events for the remainder of this film. Sports and events have changed constantly in the modern Olympics. The only summer sports included in every modern Olympic programme are athletics, aquatics, with its swimming, cycling, fencing and artistic gymnastics. The 2016 Rio Games included 28 sports, and for Tokyo 2020 there were an additional 6 sports included. Although we won't discuss the Winter Games, they normally have 15 sports in their programme. The Summer Games will always feature its core sports. I will explain about these in a minute. Many of the core sports are those traditional sports associated with the Olympics, ones where viewers would instantly say, if they were not included, where is the swimming, the gymnastics or the athletics? So the obvious first question to answer is, why are there changes to the Summer Olympics? Why is it not the same every 4 years? The number and types of events may change slightly from one Olympiad to another. The host city and their international federation have the opportunity to implement new sports. From 1912 to 1992, they were called demonstration sports. Demonstration sports were included as an opportunity to allow audiences to check out sports popular in the cities hosting the games. Sometimes these sports even went on to become full Olympic sports. In 1984, for instance, Los Angeles provided demonstrations of baseball and tennis, both of which were later added as medal events at future games. Baseball went and came back, and its future in the games is uncertain at the moment. Tennis is now a core sport and set to stay. A little known fact about these demonstration sports is that they weren't full medal events. Traditionally, The medals awarded for the demonstration events followed the same design as the Olympic medals, but they were of a smaller size. Also, they were never included in the medal count. Nowadays, quite correctly, any sport that actually makes it to the Games rewards its athletes with a chance of a full Olympic medal. If you won a softball gold medal in the 2020 Olympics, you're a gold medalist. Before each Olympics, the organising committee from each host city creates a shortlist of events it thinks it has the capacity and would like to host. The sports have to be IOC recognised. The host city then submits the list to the IOC for approval. Agenda 2020 is the programme adopted by the IOC in 2014. The comprehensive agenda addresses 40 recommendations, and one of them is to give individual host cities more control over which sports they host. This might be down to the cost of facilities, or maybe the popularity of a certain sport in the region. I've included the list of the sports in the Tokyo Games. The difference between 2016 Rio de Janiero and Tokyo is the inclusion of 6 new sports. They were baseball and softball, karate, skateboarding, sport climbing and surfing. We are now looking forward to Paris in 2024. Skateboarding, sport climbing and surfing will be featured in 2024. Here's a joke for you. What do you call a crazy person swimming in a river in Paris? Insane. Talking of insane, do you know where Paris will be hosting the surfing? In Tahiti, nearly 16,000 kilometres away from Paris. The Paris Games will also add breakdancing for the first time ever. But unfortunately, for baseball, softball and karate, as quickly as they arrived for Tokyo, they will leave just as fast for Paris. Looking further ahead to 2028, when Los Angeles will host its 3rd Summer Games, they are more than likely to reintroduce baseball and softball again. They enjoy surfing and skateboarding over there, so if I was a betting man, I would say they would stay for sure. Whether breakdancing will survive to 2028, we will have to wait and see. There is the potential for some quite new and interesting sports on the LA 2028 programme. The 28 core sports of the Games are athletics, rowing, badminton, basketball, boxing, canoeing, cycling, equestrian, fencing, football, gymnastics, weightlifting, handball, hockey, judo, aquatics, modern pentathlon, taekwondo, tennis, table tennis, shooting, archery, triathlon, sailing, volleyball, wrestling, golf, and rugby sevens. The IOC are threatening to reduce the number down to 25, but at present it remains as is at 28. If you're a core sport, you're theoretically always in the Olympics. However, the IOC can change whatever it wants, whenever it wants, via a vote. What if you're not a core sport though, and you want to be in the Olympics? How do you get onto the programme and become one? First of all, the sport must be governed by an international federation which undertakes to follow the rules of the Olympic Charter, a basic condition for recognition by the IOC. It must also be practised widely across the world and meet various criteria, drug testing, equality, etc., etc. After that, the IOC's members will conduct a series of votes. In the final round of voting, a sport must achieve a 2/3 majority. If it does, it will be included in the programme. If not, they don't. In 2005, squash won the vote for London 2012, ahead of karate, roller sports, rugby and golf, but failed to achieve the 2/3 majority in the final vote to become ratified as an Olympic sport. Becoming an IOC recognised sport is a long and bureaucratic process. There is lots of glad-handing and politics involved. Building the right connections within the IOC is a must. If you're a sport loved in a lot of countries, and if you are a new and quickly developing sport, one that is popular with the younger generations, you have a much more significant chance of securing those important votes. Also, theoretically, if a sport was ratified as a new core sport, one of the existing sports would have to leave. I would love to be a fly on the wall listening to those discussions. So now we know what are the Olympic sports and how they are selected. My thoughts on the current programme are, and please do not be offended, this is a personal selection, and I will quickly state the reasons for my choices. So here we go. 3-on-3 basketball, out. The full game is only 5-on-5, and I don't see the reason to have this half-court version, which I personally enjoy playing in the programme. Archery, yes. Artistic gymnastics, a definite yes, but we need parity in the events. Artistic swimming, yes. Athletics, yes. Badminton, yes. Baseball and softball, no. They shouldn't be there anyway because of the parity issue, but these sports are not really played enough around the world. Basketball, yes. Beach volleyball, yes. Boxing, no. This is the first time I have mentioned it, but the Olympics must be the pinnacle of the sport, and boxing has the professional ranks. So they are not the best boxers in the world, and the competition at times, especially in some female weights, is very thin on the ground. Also, I am having an issue with the violent sports, and no matter what spin is put on things, boxers are intent on hurting their opponents. Canoe slalom and canoe sprint, yes. All the cycling events, yes. Diving, yes. Equestrian, no. For lots of reasons, I completely disagree with the horse events. Sport for all, inclusion, abuse of horses, cost, and the horse who does all the work doesn't even get a medal. Fencing. The jury is out, but probably no. Just too old a sport, and the sport for me has lost its relevance. Football. Out. The women's event is fine. The top players all play, and teams certainly want to win. The men's game is a joke, and should be gone immediately. Unless they make it a full-on senior competition and ensure enough nations enter the competition, and even in that completely unlikely scenario, if that happens, I'm still not sure I want the men's game in the programme. Golf, yes, but there are too many golfers for me that are apathetic or indifferent about their participation, and this should be addressed. Handball, yes. Hockey, yes. Judo, yes. Karate, yes. Marathon swimming, yes. Modern pentathlon, no. This is a sport not participated enough and with antiquated events. Time to move this sport on, I'm afraid. Rhythmic gymnastics. I'm afraid for many, many years I have wondered why. Rowing, yes. Rugby sevens, yes. Sailing, yes. Shooting, no. We do not need to be promoting and normalising anything to do with guns. Once again, no matter what people will try to have you believe, guns were invented to kill. Skateboarding, yes, I really enjoyed those events. Sport climbing, yes. Surfing, yes. But not 16,000 kilometres away. Swimming, yes, but we need to thin down the number of events. Table tennis, yes. Taekwondo, no. This is a sport that's just too frantic for me. Tennis, at first I was unsure, but now I'm in the yes camp. Trampoline, yes. Triathlon, yes. Volleyball, yes. Water polo, yes. Weightlifting, yes. Wrestling, yes. Okay, so those are my thoughts now on the sports that were included in the Tokyo Games. Obviously, we have breakdancing in Paris 2024, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. So what sports could replace those I would see gone? Well, there's several that jump to mind straight away. Squash, cricket, strongest man, bowling. What about esports? As I say, these are just some of the sports that quickly come to mind and deserve consideration and might offer an improvement on the current programme. I'm really looking forward to Paris 2024 and watching, without doubt, the greatest sporting event on earth. Thanks for watching, and I'm sure I have given you some food for thought. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I will reply back to you. Check out my other films related to everything sports. I'm new to making these films, and the channel really benefits with likes and subscriptions, so consider helping me out by smashing that like button and subscribe button. Finally, check out my 5-star rated book, Interested in Sport, for thousands of the best sports facts and jokes.